Hello.
Hi.
You hear us all right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get this in full screen.
All right.
So, Spencer, bass guitar, Seth, drummer, and
Yeah.
then Aaron, our vocalist. Just depending on what time he gets off work, he knows, and he may or may not be joining, but we're good to
Okay.
get started.
Okay. Great. So this will be a question for both of you.
Okay.
Tell me about your journey with creating music. How did you get started? Was it something you always knew you wanted to do?
Yeah, I think we knew from pretty early on because our father was a drummer and he was in several different bands, original bands and cover bands and tribute bands. And so we'd always see him play. And that was just, we were just awestruck by that. He'd have drum sets in the house and he'd let us play them sometimes. And our mother, she was a pianist. She took piano lessons and she got us into lessons and got him into guitar lessons. So it was just kind of inevitable that us two were going to end up working together doing music to some degree.
Hmm.
And uh, then we got into school band and stuff like that. And me and him ended up in different rock bands in high school. And both of our bands that we were in, he wanted Aaron as the singer in his band, and I wanted Aaron as the singer in our band. But the people we were in our bands with, they were like, "Oh, well, we don't want a standalone singer." And then I just always knew in the back of my head, I was like, Aaron is such a good singer.
Hmm.
And like, they just didn't like him, partly because he was dorky. We were all total dorks. Aaron looked funny back then. I did do that. But when we all got out of high school, me and him finally came together and we're like, all right, we need to do something together, put our minds together. And we finally got Aaron on board after all those years. And yeah, that's kind of how Seven Year Witch to some degree got started.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank
He's
you.
really good.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
Glad you got him finally. Who are some of your biggest musical influences and how have they helped to shape your sound?
Um, well, I can speak for the two of us. Our favorite band is this band based out of New Jersey called the Parlor Mob. And that band, they might not be a household name, that hasn't been on the radio and things of that nature. But as much as we played around and toured and stuff, we found that like some bands that are underground and have never went mainstream are some of the most talented, amazing bands. So we have like a laundry list of like great unsigned bands that inspire us, with number one being the band the Parlor Mob. But as far as some more mainstream stuff, we all love Jack White and take a great influence from him. And then we all have our individual influences. Like Aaron is greatly influenced by Chris Cornell and Soundgarden and stuff kind of all around the board. We like Dream Theater and Rush and some prog stuff, even though that we don't really do prog type music, but we have influence from a wide range of rock music from the 70s to current music.
Yeah, Bo is
Yeah.
into Arctic Monkeys and Muse. I think Muse is his favorite band. And then yeah, like he said, Aaron loves Soundgarden, Audio Slave, stuff like that. I'm everything aforementioned I'm into. I love the White Stripes. I'm a fan of Meg White, the drummer. I know a lot of people don't like her because she's so simple. I like that stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So who's the songwriter? Would it be Aaron?
So it's
You
kind
kind
of
of share.
he he writes a lot more. He's writing more than ever.
Mhm.
Like our first album, it was kind of like split into like thirds almost. Spencer wrote a few things, I wrote a few things, and Aaron wrote a few things. And when we started, it was pretty much instrumentally just a lot of the stuff I was writing. But as Aaron grew as a vocalist and a songwriter, we all just became fans of the stuff he was writing. So he's actually writing more than anybody at this point. And Bo, our newest guitarist,
Mhm.
same way, like there are times where I've got all these ideas and I'm showing everybody, but then I hear what Bo's playing and I'm like, I'd rather play that. I like it better. So
Yeah,
I've stepped back a little bit just to let some other better ideas shine, but it's still somewhat a collective effort.
that's good. You all have your own influences and you bring that and Each
Yeah.
to your own. Yeah. Where do you guys draw inspiration from?
Go with that.
Musically, I know a lot of people nowadays don't really listen to albums as much, but we love to put on an album while we're driving, when we're on tour and just listen to an album to front to back. And just listening to a whole album, the collective experience of it. We take a lot of inspiration from, a lot of B-side tracks. If you turn on the radio, you hear like a band's number one hit song. It's straight to the chorus. It's a 2-minute song, but a lot of the times when we listen to albums, some of our favorite songs are, not the singles, some of the 6 and 7 minute songs, the crazier ones that aren't meant for the radio. We take a lot of inspiration from songs like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like a lot of bands with weird stories. Like you look at bands like System of a Down, all their members are very important. You couldn't just swap out a member. They're not like, I don't know the first thing about Maroon 5, but I don't think people keep up with the members so much. It's just they
No.
like a band like that. But you take a band like Metallica or System of a Down, the members are all so important, and they all have these weird come up stories and all how they met, and it's just bands like that, when you really dig, just like he's saying, you dig into some of their other stuff, they're all kind of weird. They're to
Yeah.
their core, they're weird. And that is the stuff we draw inspiration from. You just listen to stuff and find the weirder angle and try to take that and just try to stay off the path more
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Speaking of albums, you guys have an album coming.
Yes, man.
What can you share about the creative process for this album? And are there any themes or messages you were going with?
So lyrically, I showed my girlfriend the album once it was completely finished.
Mhm.
And I was just like, all right, give me your thoughts. And she was like, every song's like a love song, like, but not necessarily in a gushy way. Some are like, the breakup type of love. It all, to some degree, revolves around love, which is interesting. One of the singles on the album is that song we have called "Weaponize Your Love," which
Yeah.
is a love-centered song. So there is a common theme throughout the album, and it is love. I guess the good, the bad, and the ugly. But as far as creatively, some of these songs we recorded, I mean, what, 2-3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been holding on to them because we've been on this quest these last few years to just find the best management and agents and trying to find a big label. And with some things, we never found the right fit, because we were holding these songs back because we wanted to work with someone to put them out.
Mm-hmm.
Never found what we considered to be the right fit that we felt really great about. So we were like, you know what, let's just put them out ourselves. So we took the songs we already had recorded and then very recently recorded about 5 to 6, I think it was 6 more songs of just ideas we've had and we've been sitting on forever. And we're like, the world needs to hear this. We need to quit sitting on it. We don't need to overthink it. We don't need to beat ourselves up over it. Let's go in there. Whatever sounds good is good. And let's just kind of record it. And
Yeah.
I think you can hear that very much. We were just tired of waiting on people, tired of getting in our own way. We just laid it down and put it out there.
Maybe this is what brings the people to you. They hear it and they're like, I've got to be part of this.
Yeah. You can't like a song you've never heard, so we got to get it out there.
That's right. Do either of you have a favorite song or lyric from the coming album?
It's a good question.
Ooh, you got one? I got to think for a second.
The lyrics for "Weaponize Your Love," I love that second verse. Let me try to think of the line. It's talking kind of about a toxic relationship, and the lyric is, "Drugs are the only thing for keeping you sane. Other option is a bullet in the brain." I really like that. Like it's out there. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
it rhymes too. Yeah, we have
He's
the
cheating.
the closing track on the album is a song called "High Times," and it's about how everybody in the band has had the same experience. We all used to smoke weed, and out of nowhere, it all made us extremely paranoid, and nobody smokes weed anymore. And that song kind of touches on that, about how you just smoke weed and then you get outrageously paranoid. And the chorus is I think I smoked a little much. It's got me feeling kind of funny, but I like it a lot. I think that's kind of funny.
All right. So you have toured extensively, for one thing, but with some amazing artists. Do you have a favorite tour that you've done?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking for both of us, but the first time we got to go to California, we've been twice now, but the first time was with a much larger band, and we were just kind of riding their coattails the entire time, the entire way. They were packing out all the places, and we were just reaping all the benefits of it. And what's great is that when your average concert goers, they don't necessarily know the story behind everything, how you're a smaller band trying to develop, and you just so happen to end up opening for this awesome artist. So the concert goers don't know that, so they just think you're some big deal. And so when they see you in the same light they might see the headliner. And so when
Yeah.
they meet you, we had people coming up to us like we were some just massive national worldwide thing, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just a person like you. I'm glad you think that of me. But
Yeah.
that was a great time. That was an awesome summer.
You guys have not been in North Carolina lately,
Hmm.
which is not good.
No,
You
no.
need to come back. Amos specifically.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the first time I saw you guys. Actually, every time you're at Amos's South End, I come down and shoot. It's been a while.
we might be coming to Amos in August, and we'll be playing a venue we've never played before. Evening Muse, I think we're playing there.
Okay.
We're about to announce
April.
it, but in April, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really excited to play there because we've heard a lot of great things about the venue.
Yeah. I will have to come down for that. Can you talk about a particularly memorable moment or performance?
Yeah.
Any that really stand out to you?
One that would stand out huge to me is when we got to play at the Whiskey A Go Go.
Mhm.
Because the tour we got that summer with Buckcherry, it was all kind of great shows at, just kind of different random event centers or like an outdoor pavilion type thing.
Mhm.
But this one, it was the first time I had ever, or either two of us had ever been to Hollywood before the Sunset Strip. And the first time even in the state of California, we go straight in and we're getting to play at one of the most, legendary venues. And just so happens, since it's with Buckcherry, it's sold out. So that was like our introduction to California. And the crowd was loving it. And it's like one of those venues where it's not like a stage and then a big barricade and then the crowd. It's like the crowd is right there, like they can reach up and like grab you if they wanted to. And just between the history of that venue, like all the videos and documentaries we watched of it, just getting to show up in that state the first time ever in Hollywood, just getting to play a sold out show there. That was extremely memorable, and huge thanks to Buckcherry for having us on that show.
Yeah.
Good to be true. It was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, so your live shows, I've shot a lot of bands, but you guys are my favorite to shoot because you're so lively. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
I was like, if Aaron showed up, I was going to show him this is one of my favorite pictures.
I love
would,
that picture.
That'd be great. I used that more
Yeah.
than once.
Yeah. So what are your goals as a band? Do you have any in particular? Like, where would you see yourselves in 5 years?
I mean, we want to just grow the band as big as we can possibly do it. Bands, I feel like when you get to our size, it's easy to hit a plateau. Like it's almost kind of those like, where do you go from here? Because at the beginning of your musical career, if you could see where, us being at this level, we might be like, oh, that's good enough right there. That's awesome. You got people that'll travel to see you, you make money playing. That's awesome. But when you get here, you're like, I want a little more than this. So I could see us in the next 5 years just finally getting on that big festival circuit, because I see it all the time, all these big rock festivals. Like people would comment and tag us like, oh, y'all need to be on this. And I feel like we're right there at that point where once we got involved with those festivals, we would be like a mainstay. They would like to have us probably every
Yeah.
years. but we're just right at that point, and it's going to take a little more pushing. But things of that nature, being a festival band and staying more consistent on the road, really dependable agent and stuff like that. If we can achieve that in the next 5 years, to me, that's making it right there.
Yeah. All right. What is your motto or some good advice that you live by?
I would say one thing we've always had from the very beginning is whether we're playing to nobody, which rarely happens anymore, or a sold out crowd, if there's 5 people there, 500 or 5,000 to play the same high energy show every time. Because if you were to play a show and it was like a complete bust and 30 or so people there and you just go through the motions and play, you know, they might not come again. But if you gave your whole energy to a performance of, to just a few people, they would appreciate that so much. And from the first show we played, we had an agreement. It's all or nothing at every show, every time. I would say that's been our motto since day one.
That, and just, you hear it with anybody that it doesn't matter if you're in a band or you're starting a business selling hot dogs at a hot dog stand. You got to be ready to hear no 100 times before you hear one yes, especially when you start a band. But so yeah, just never be discouraged. Like it's like we were even submitting songs to be reviewed or whatever, and we'd submit the same song to two equally, seemingly equal sources, and they would be like, love it. I don't think I've ever heard anything quite like this. This gave me goosebumps. And the other one would be like, unoriginal, didn't like it. So you just have to be prepared for things like
that. So what else are each of you passionate about besides music?
Well, we're all passionate about bowling, believe it or not. We actually all just Aaron got his highest score ever yesterday. We've been going like every Sunday for quite some time.
Oh, all together?
Yeah, well, Bo, our guitarist Bo, he doesn't usually make it because he lives in another state. He lives in Georgia.
Okay.
So, practicing and stuff logistically isn't that hard, but bowling, I don't think he just wants to drive here just to bowl. Now, other than that, yeah, we all like to bowl. Shoot, what else do we like to do?
What else are we passionate about? Bowling and music and
not going broke, trying to not do that. Always trying to make a little bit of money somehow. Kind of have to be passionate about that or you'll starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just all pretty much all things, just art and music. When I'm not working on music for 7 Year Witch, I'm sitting at the piano or I got a guitar and I'm just making music just to be making it. So it's kind of all consuming.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And in my last question, do you have anything else that you would like to share with your fans?
Ooh, it's become a meme at this point when bands will be like, "Oh, big things coming," but they never say like what's coming. But we've been putting a lot of hours in behind the computer screen, sending out emails, getting this year looking right. And I think we have an awesome year lined up. There's just some things we can't announce yet, but the one thing I'd like the fans to know is we're about to have an awesome year. It's gonna very much triumph last year, and it's gonna be really fun, and we're gonna be very active. So
okay.
I guess if I had a message for the fans, maybe the last like year or two when we've had different managers and stuff, they've all told us, well, let's wait to put an album out. Let's see if we can get signed first. Let's just hold out, put music out, try to get signed so there's a budget behind, the releases or the Spotify algorithm likes it if you put this song or this song and we're at this amount of time. And we've kind of been told to wait to put music out by different management and stuff like that. But we keep getting comments on social media. When is this song coming out? When is this one coming out? So we're not waiting on, necessarily trying to get signed or management telling us to wait. We're putting an album out now because we have these songs and people have been asking about them. So we're doing this for, everyone that's, wanted this music to come out. So I guess if I had a message, we're putting this album out, and we're ready for y'all to hear these songs.
We're done waiting.
We're doing this for y'all. We're done waiting. People telling us to wait. People want to hear it. They've been asking about it. We're putting it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. I can't wait to hear it.
Of
We're
course.
so excited to get it out there.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys when you come to Charlotte.
All right, yeah.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it.
All right. Bye.
See ya.